My watch, we're 5 past, so the ghost of Howard will be beating on me if we don't get started here. So let's start out with a roll call, please.
Okay, Delaware County, Mr. Early is excused. Lou Jones. Pat Delmeter.
Here.
Maggie Wilson.
Here.
Dave Simmons.
Present.
How about that? Very good. Fulton County, Von Hart is excused. Jack Farquhar.
Here.
Lucas Paskowitz.
No.
Okay. Mark Souza. Okay. Hamilton County, Joyce Malidi is excused. Phil Malidi present. Sue Franco is excused. Gary Wicks. Not with us. He is working without a doubt. Montgomery County, Tom Pasquarelli.
Here.
Mickey Swartz.
Here.
Trish Green. Tony Agresta.
Here.
Otsego County, Sid Chase.
Here.
Beth McGowan is excused. Dave Markowitz, MD.
Here.
Dana Wygan, working. Rich Kirschman.
Here.
Schoharie County, Ed Brandt. Bill Beavers.
Here.
Ed Hillenbrand.
Here.
Dr. Deborah Funk Valois is excused. Mark Zeke is excused. Dr. Leinhardt is excused. Sir, we have a quorum.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we're guest chair today?
Oh, we have a bunch.
Yeah.
We have Jill Dunham from Gavac. We have Howard Youth from some little school down the line there. I forget, the name escapes me for just a moment, but
FM.
FM, close enough. Is that like AM, FM?
That's what they call themselves. I've been referring to them as FMCC. I was told it's FM now.
FM, okay. We have Joe Farrell and Mary Ramo from NYSENS. John McMillan from Gavac. Welcome. Joe Cazzola and Rich Knapp from Town of Hancock Ambulance. Thank you. We have Country Suite from Shayback. And did I leave anybody out? Wasn't deliberate, if I did. Okay. Welcome one and all.
Thank you. We got a copy of the minutes from our last meeting. Questions? No questions. We need a motion for approval. Motion's been made.
Okay.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who was second? Sid?
Motion's been made and seconded for approval of minutes from our last month's meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Okay. Correspondence. Not too bad. I don't think it took too many trees this time.
Took some cyber trees.
Yeah, cyber trees. Okay. Okay, I don't have a report. Let's go right into the secretary's report.
Okay. On February 13th, regrettably, we received word from Frank Sheeran of his resignation from this council and from the ambulance service of Fulton County, effective February 19th, tomorrow. And with regret, I make a motion that we accept with regret his resignation from the council and declare his seat to be vacant, awaiting a nomination from the Fulton County EMS Advisory Board.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, the second? Sid. Sid, okay.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the resignation of Frank. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained?
Okay, on February 17th, Mike Taylor conducted a training webinar with yours truly, introducing me to navigation of the state bridge. It was great fun. It's not a user-friendly piece of software, and I'm getting the hang of it, so be prepared for all kinds of interesting reports. Navigation of the state bridge on the regional level is a prime requirement for effective QI on the regional level, and so it was necessary for me to get my feet wet on it, and in turn Joyce will become proficient. She probably will become a lot more proficient than I in navigating the state bridge for QI also. One of the most interesting statistics that came out in my navigation session, and I really appreciate it, I told Mike I really appreciated his spending the time, and they've upgraded WebEx to recognize Windows 10 now, by the way, so it can operate very efficiently. Our records show that for calendar year 2015, the 21 PCR reporting agencies in AAREMS uploaded 30,211 PCRs to the state bridge, while the remainder of our reporting agencies, which are a total of 49, sent the regional office a total of 15,315 paper PCRs. Therefore, the EPCR agencies that comprise 30% of our total reporting agencies are now generating 51% of all of our PCRs. Interesting. And when Fulton County comes on board, the 30% of our agencies that are EPCR will be generating approximately 75% of our total PCRs in the region on a yearly basis. That's an interesting statistic. Stand by for more interesting statistics. Not right this minute, but stand by. No, it was a very, I won't, it's a private conversation. I won't, I really appreciated the webinar session, and it was to a piece of software that Chris and I will be spending a lot more time on. In line with that, I would like to ask the council to consider the purchase of a new laptop for Joyce for her QI work with the agencies. Our current laptop is a $100 Dell Rehab that we got a while back, and it just doesn't have the gizzards, to put it very elegantly, to run the software and to navigate properly. Particularly, I'm thinking of the state bridge. So I'd like you to entertain a motion that that I purchase a new laptop for Joyce. The cost for a really state-of-the-art Dell laptop, 17-inch laptop, with a wireless printer, no less. This will be a fully equipped laptop with Office installed and all the rest of it. Will be approximately $850. We have the funds for it. We have the funds for it. So I would like you to consider that if you would. I will not, since it is so because I won't make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to purchase the laptop for the office. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained?
Just note that all notices of enforcement actions are being forwarded to us via email since August of 2014, and this past month we have not received any notices of enforcement. Also, the correspondence files, I'm trying to make them, rather than duplicate some information in the Secretary's report that's already in the correspondence file, I'm trying to make the correspondence file just a little bit more newsy, if you will. For example, when I receive a correspondence from DOH regarding overdue deliverables, I'm making a note in there that we're not involved in the overdue. This is just something that was sent out to everybody, and so forth and so on. Anyway, so I would ask you to take just a little closer look at the correspondence files, if you would, and if you have any suggestions about how I can make them even more interesting to read. Some of the correspondence is very routine, but some of it is fairly noteworthy. Let me know, please. I will entertain all suggestions. Sir, that is my report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the treasurer's report.
Okay. The account balance sheet and cash flow report is available for everybody. In addition, Sid and Lou and Tom and Jack have all received copies of the balance sheet, the cash flow, and also the register report for the current period since our last meeting. And their report is?
Everything appears to be clear and accurate.
Okay. Our cash flow is quite good. We have a very good account balance. Thanks completely to the prompt payments from the state. I have to give credit where credit is due. We're having very prompt contract payments from the state. Good indeed. Okay. No, that's all I have for
A motion for the treasurer's report.
So moved.
I'm sorry.
Motion is made for the treasurer's report. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Dave. Okay.
Motion Motion's been made and seconded to accept the treasurer's report as presented. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstained?
I will abstain as a staff member.
Committee reports. Anything on program agency?
Program agency, no, just that getting a new laptop for Joyce.
You want to speak about training this morning?
Yes, we had a training committee meeting this morning. Joyce is not able to be here due to locomotion problems. She's very scared about walking when there's any ice or snow on the ground. And we have some of both up our way, and there's a little of both down here. But we did chat with her via speakerphone this morning, and we spoke about the certified instructor update, which is going to be Saturday, June the 4th at SUNY Copelskill. And I'm going to ask Howard to jump in here too and talk a little bit about it.
Joyce and I have been talking with a number of other people. Actually, Joyce has been coordinating primarily. This morning she also mentioned that as of April, she'll no longer have her instructor certification. So I told her, honestly, that anything that we can do to help her get regional training done, we're more than willing to do. So come June the 4th, we're going to do a CIU, so a Certified Instructor Update, on the campus. The morning, Joyce is hoping to have kind of a walkthrough for ICs and CLIs as far as end-of-course paperwork, hopefully beginning to end. She's in touch with Gene Taylor, trying to see if Gene can do it, and if not, maybe somebody else. If not somebody from the state, certainly Gene and I are capable, Joyce and I are capable of doing it ourselves. In the afternoon, I'm going to do a 3 to 4 hour segment on ethics within not only the profession, but within teaching. It's something that was part of the New York State CIC / regional faculty rollout this last year up in Syracuse, and I think it's absolutely worth pushing down to the rest of our providers.
Howard, if I could ask, all kidding aside, what is the situation with training courses being held at FNCC now?
The situation is really good. I was just saying to Tom Pescarelli earlier, they have been wonderful with us. Talk about opening, their arms without a problem. Anything we've asked for, they've pretty much done day of or week of. Their dean has been incredibly responsive. We were fortunate through GAVAC's assistance. We both had small populations like a week or two prior to the course, and GAVAC sent 4 or 5 of their students over to us to make sure that the course still ran. We had 17 that were going to be there the first night of class, and as we were talking about earlier, we have 20 people that are going to take the class, and then 12 show, and then 6 are there the second week, and then 3 test, and we all know the story. But so far we're holding with 13 people. Which
this is your BLS original
correct.
Refresher?
EMT original refresher, yeah. And actually these are all originals. We had 1 refresher who showed, and the first night of class, well, correction, he enrolled. The first night of class he didn't show up, second night of class he didn't show up, and we contacted him, he had family problems and can't do the refresher. But the course is running well. We've got all brand new equipment up there. The staff loves being up there. The college has been super nice about being there, so we're looking forward to expanding things.
Do you have any, or is it, if it's an unfair question, just say so, but about advanced training up at FM?
So, couple things. Our program as a whole now is going through a little bit of a rebirth again because we've just added a campus and we haven't added any faculty. So it looks like this is going to take. If it does, we'd very much like to get an AEMT class up at FM. I think, don't hold me to it, I know, I would like to see us be able to try and beam the paramedic lectures to FM so that we can increase our catchment area a little bit so it'd be easier. But there's a lot of paperwork and legwork that goes with that, not only through state DOH, but Department of Education because it's at a college. So it may be possible, it may not. AEMT is, I think, much more realistic. It's probably not going to happen this year, or if it does, it'll happen in the fall. But we're looking to see what populates up there and how it's supported. And I was mentioning prior also to a couple people, our concern, if anything, this semester is that surprisingly our Copelskill EMT class is actually under-enrolled greatly. And it's weird for us, it's the first time, so hopefully it's a glitch. But we had about 8 people, and 8 people just does not make it financially balanced. So, we really went out of our way to make sure that we had something that the community folks that didn't want college credit could come in and do as long as they were on the state voucher system, but running an EMT class for 8 people is not financially possible for us. We're committed to doing it for at least a couple semesters to make sure that happens, but the bottom line is if people don't come to us for it, we're going to have to end up canceling the class.
Oh.
So looks like we're going to be strong at FM, and we'll have at least one EMT course at Cobblescale every year, but we may end up dropping the spring course.
Howard, my understanding is that the AEMT course itself has approximately the running time of the basic EMT course. Is that about right?
Well, so it should, if you get students that come into it that are competent BLS providers at the level that they're certified at and understand the material that's currently in the BLS educational objectives. The problem with that is that more often than not, that's not the case, especially after the transition material's been pushed out. Folks that have been doing either CME research, mostly CME research, maybe have not been exposed to the pathophysiology that was added, and then all of a sudden you're trying to teach them an ALS level assessment and pathophys, and there's no base understanding in the first place. Maggie, chip in anywhere you want, because I know you've run some successful AEMT too.
Yeah, ours ran about the same as the EMT course. It did take a lot on their part to get caught up on the patho, but even the EMT course now is a lot. It
Right.
takes longer to do because of the patho. Not, it's certainly necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd almost say that at this point, I think the pathophys and the assessment within AEMT might actually be beyond the current written guidelines for CC even.
Yes, it is.
How about the commitment on students' part? Are the students, they seem really committed, or are you having a lot of dropouts on it, or what?
For AEMT, we've had really good success. We've done 2 classes. The first one I taught, we had 20 enroll. 2 of them dropped because of job changes that moved them out of the area. We had no academic attrition, and we had 17 tests and 16 passed. The second class that we did, we had a couple other people that were kind of dipping their toe in the water to see what it was like, and they got into it, realized that it was going to be, work, and kind of decided that maybe this wasn't for them, and partially through they decided that this wasn't going to work out. We had one that stuck the course and just couldn't pass it. You know, the bottom line here is that all of the state EMS courses now are a whole lot more work than they used to be. There's more in it, there's more that our providers can do, and whether it's taught at a college or not, it's college level material at this point.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Transportation standard?
Transportation standards, we don't have anything currently except, if you will, anecdotal. The Wells ambulance will shortly be filing a transfer of operating authority with us because back in the day, they were part of the Wells Fire Department and they became part of the town municipal apparatus without any formal paperwork being filed some 20 some odd years ago, and it has just recently come to light at the state level that this has been the case. So a transfer of operating authority will be upcoming. I do not have any paperwork yet, but I suspect I'll have it by next meeting. Doesn't require a CON, no, it's just a simple transfer of operating authority. Requires the services of a stenographer, of course. So our nice stenographic service will be present, but not next week. I presume will be received. As soon as we receive the paperwork, I will make it available to the members of the committee, and then we will, start the process and keep everybody fully advised what's going on.
Okay, thank you. I know you guys don't meet until next week, but you got anything else?
Tom, I did get a set of meeting dates. Check me on this, but Andy Johnson sent an email around advising the following SEMSCO and CMAC meeting dates with the meetings that take place at the Hilton Garden Inn in Troy. May 24th and 25th, September 13th and 14th, and January 10th and 11th of 2017. This is in addition to the meeting already set for March 1st and 2nd.
Correct.
Is that
That is correct.
That's the one where there was some confusion. They thought they did away with the March meeting.
Okay, very good. Regional program update, anything on the program directors?
No, nothing this time.
Any other program updates?
No.
Nothing from REMAC today?
No, the REMAC next meets on Thursday, March the 17th. St. Patty's Day is our next meeting, March the 17th. And Dr. Leinhardt had asked me at the last REMAC last month if I could develop a report from the State Bridge, which is the one I gave information on as far as PCRs, and also as to medication administration in 2015 by AAREMS ALS agencies. I did develop that, and I sent a copy to all the REMAC members as he had asked me. And we were discussing that in some length at the REMAC on March 17th. Interesting statistics, very interesting statistics. Nothing spectacular, but just interesting statistics.
Okay. Calendar reports. Delaware?
We're going to check our EMT courses for this year, so this the one that just tested, or no, will be tonight. Yes, tonight. Yes. So we have one class testing tonight, and then the next class test out in April. So it's a pretty big year for that. We're doing the ALS courses this year. And we've got our AHA Training Center updates to the new guidelines. We're getting all that paperwork together. Other than that,
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Let's see, go.
Nothing new, business as usual.
Harry?
Nothing to report.
Montgomery?
Nothing to report. The only thing I have is our hospitals are faced with it. I don't know if it's in any other county. Everyone on 1 to 10,000 is on a national back order. So that is unavailable. Our agency is just about, as of the end of the month, we will be out of the pre-filled syringes of 1 to 10,000 and switching over to the 1 to 1,000, mixing it every dose ourselves.
It's interesting because just like
Go
2 weeks.
What's that?
The multi-dose file?
yeah.
We haven't decided what we're going to do. The last time we did do that, but I think that it's probably more practical for us just to tape a 1 milligram vial to a syringe, a saline syringe.
It's cheaper with the vial, right?
We waste a lot of epi in the 30 milligrams.
Yeah.
So,
That would be one sales for
yeah, it's crazy that they can't make water, right?
Yeah.
Water.
The point of information, a couple of weeks ago, we restocked Epi 1 to 10 preloads, and I had no trouble at all getting them. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it could be a nice.
Our pharmacist has said, be careful with it. Because he's having a hard time getting it flowing.
Okay, thank you. Fulton
Nothing new.
and Hamilton.
Gary's not here, so I'll make a brief report. Basic EMT class from Indian Lake tested out, all 6 passed. And Joyce is working with 2 folks who did not pass the CFR course, getting them ready for a retest. Very small numbers, but they're appropriate numbers for our neck of the woods. Those small numbers wouldn't work elsewhere. They do work up our way.
It is technically.
Very good.
Can we just go back a second? If you look at policy statement 1304, which is the drug shortage policy, there's very specific directions on epi 1 to 10,000 shortages, what to do. And there's a procedure to be followed.
What was that, 1304?
1304, correct.
share.
Yeah, do tell.
My voice won't last long enough to read this. Basically, if you pull up the policy, there's a whole procedure. I mean, you guys are on track with it, but there has to be notification from the CMAC, from the REMAC to Andy Johnson and whatnot. There also has to be a training plan, a lesson plan in place, so that there is no drug errors. It's to protect the providers.
We've done this I mean,
I understand, but there's
so
a.
this happens every time. So we had an epi shortage last year. We ran through the same thing. Or there.
But I'm just cautioning people that there is a specific policy.
I'll send a copy of that to all the members. I'll send it to them.
Who needs to notify Andy Johnson? The REMAC.
Correct.
So the REMAC, Phil, you're gonna have to get a hold of Bill and have him-
Yeah, because technically you notify the REMAC, and then from the REMAC it gets kicked up.
Okay.
And the REMAC is supposed to send notice to all the agencies, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then every 30 days the REMAC is supposed to evaluate the need to continue the use of the alternative formulary. And if it continues on for after 6 months, the REMAC must submit an approval request to AAREMS for extension.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want anyone to get jammed up on that.
So, notify the REMAC.
You might check more medical. They sent me a flyer today that was in stock.
Well,
I did call them the other day, so that's interesting. One of the things I could never understand too is when we have these shortages, more in particular, they limit the number that a customer can buy. I don't understand what the difference is if I buy it or you buy it, or you're still selling it.
Rationing.
Which way did you pay for it the last time?
Tom, did you try EMP also? That's what we got.
I did not.
You might want to try EMP. That's where we got our restock from with no problem.
Alrighty. Old business. Any old business, Mr. Council? Old business? Okay. Any new business, Mr. Council?
I'm not sure, oh, are you going?
Fire away, Maggie.
I'm not sure if it's old business or new business, but it goes back to what we were talking about in the training session. The AEMT is taking the ACLS course as things it says they can do on the regional check sheet. But Howard had the same concern as I did, that they can't pass the course because we would then have to teach them rhythms and a slew of medications. You know, that they need to take a hold of their course, but we can't possibly teach them that in an 8-hour period, so.
And ACLS just isn't designed for that.
Right.
ACLS is designed to teach folks that have that level of education how to make it fit the AHA setting.
So they can come to the course, I guess what my feeling is they could come to the course and sign in, but they're not gonna get a card at the end, because there's no possible way they can get that information and pass it.
So, I mean, it's kind of just inappropriate. It's not the right level of education for an AEMT.
Maybe we should refine the wording a little bit on that.
What was the goal?
It merely says that the requirement, the intubation requirement, can be satisfied by completing an ACLS course. But of course, if they can't complete it, then they can complete it. That's the only wording. It just says if we can complete an ACLS course, we satisfy the intubation requirement.
Well, they're more than welcome to come, I guess. is what
So,
you're saying.
so as an AHA training site coordinator now, though, you don't have to intubate in an ACLS course.
No. That's what I was
So-
The reason why those courses were put in there is because it was a question on what could be used as a core content.
Right, core content, sure. But if you're using them for skill checkoffs, it doesn't work for any other provider. You don't need to intubate in an ACLS course.
Unless the ACLS instructor gears it towards the pre-hospital provider, in which case they do have you intubate.
Yeah.
Right, but even then, you don't physically, there's no physical requirement to do the tube. It's a matter of knowing when to do it. It's decision-making stuff, but there's no actual physical requirement. You don't need an airway head to run an ACLS course.
The ones I've been to, we've actually
Me
physically
too,
done them.
me too. But there's no AHA standard to do that, so.
Right.
Right.
I know the last ACLS course I took, it was an option. You could intubate, if you wanted to.
So just, I guess, a word of caution, if you're using that to check off skills, it's not a valid way to do it.
We may have to tweak the wording, we bring that up at the REMAC next time. We have to tweak the wording on the policy a little bit, the residential policy. Just to, I would not want to see AEMTs be candidates for an ACLS course and then find out that they can't complete it, and that leaves them kind of,
Right, or
for want of a more
pay for
elegant
it.
phrase, that leaves them kind of bummed out, you know? So, yeah, we should tweak that a little bit.
Is there such a hardship regionally of having people signed off on an intubation head for?
No. I'm looking for simplified ways of doing it, but like, as so often happens when you look for something simplified,
You make it more complex.
complicated than the original.
I mean, the ACLS course for the ACLS course for the paramedic and the critical care makes perfect sense. You have to have it. Well, the critical care don't, but you should have it anyway. You should be familiar. You know, the only problem I have is the AEMTs. I just don't want to set somebody up for failure for the class and then not be able
Could
to.
I ask you to think about how that might be creatively reworded in the credentialing policy? And we'll talk about this at the REMAC, at the next REMAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continuing that thought.
Again, I don't want to disappoint anybody who's looking at the policy.
It may be just adding, in addition to a skills session or.
I mean, if you're confident with AHA, ACLS instructors doing the skill checkoff, just simply put down that an ACLS instructor can verify your skills. Let them do it via, if you're just worried about intubation and IVs, just like you can have a CIC or a CLI sign off it, let an ACLS instructor do it.
Can you do it that way?
Yeah,
Can you do it that
I
way?
thought that was part of why we made it a live course as opposed to the online course, so that they would know they needed to sign off on their deletions.
Okay. Let's just change it. Obviously, the wording needs to be tweaked just a little bit, and we want to do it in a way that's comfortable.
Can you put it back on the, the agencies are being held responsible because this training's getting done, so why does it have to be an AHA training session? The agency,
Doesn't have to be.
reach out, word it so that, we're gonna have Howard.
Just to ensure, maybe put it on the agency before they do this, they have to ensure that the person has actually done 2 intubations, or 4 intubations, whatever it was, 4 intubations, 4 defibrillations.
Yeah, but the concern is, how do you know that they're being done correctly? I mean, are you going through and just doing the monkey maneuver, or are you checking to be sure that there's correct tube placement, etc.? I think that was the reason for specifying CIC.
I don't know, even in the old way, that you knew they were done correctly. For the simple fact is, it just called for 2 intubations.
Yeah.
There could be 2 intubations that failed. There's nothing that was ever required that said 2 successful intubations.
It did say that in the cards, in the parentheses, it said 2 successful intubations.
Right.
But who verified?
But, exactly, how much,
Agency representative.
Right.
right, yeah,
That's who signed it.
right, but,
Well,
I mean,
as far as
I
say
don't-
now, they say that the
Did you say
agency
define
has to do a
successful?
defibrillation, a manual defibrillation, but they can't. They can only use an AED. So I had to use my AED trainer and have them hook it up and then run through the AED trainer because they can't manually use the monitor
Right.
to override it.
right.
So it was like a whole separate code that we had to set up for them, which is fine. It doesn't matter. I'll do whatever needs to be done.
I would just take ACLS completely out of the equation and see to it that the agency provides them with some sort of training to get these skills done.
Like I said,
Put
we
it back on
put
the
it
agency.
in just to simplify things.
Yeah.
And now you see what's happening?
Dr. Markowitz.
When it was mentioned that paramedics have to have the ACLS and it's option for critical care, I think we need to rethink that and make it mandatory for the critical cares also. If they can push the drugs, I think they ought to have a card to review it on a regular basis.
It could be made mandatory in the region, yes, absolutely. Sure.
We might rethink that.
I
Okay.
don't disagree with that.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda for the REMAX.
Thank you, sir.
Good, excellent. Excellent.
Okay, any other new business for this council?
I have a question. Sorry.
All right.
I know. Well, it's up to you how quickly it gets answered. So I sit on the Collaborative Protocol Committee, and I don't know if you guys are all up on it or not. I tried this question at REMO, at the REMAC level, not at the REMSCO because I couldn't make the meeting. So I'll put it to you guys. The current Collaborative Protocol Committee is being rearranged with an MOU between the regions. That's, at least the draft of it, is supposed to be signed by the regional medical director or REMAC chair, whatever each region's calling it. My comment to Dr. Daly at the time was that there is not a regional medical director really anywhere in state authority. It's a REMAC chair. Some regions call them a regional medical director, but really there's no job description for it. And then my question was simply, does the REMAC or REMAC chair have authority to sign an MOU on behalf of the region? I didn't get a clear answer from Remo. The answer that I got from Dr. Daly was that he had sent it to an attorney who had said he didn't see a problem with it.
I was going to say, I wouldn't see a problem because that REMAC chair is representing the region.
Well,
I see a problem with it if the region doesn't, no different than if you go to the state level. The CMAC can't do anything without the SEMSCO's approval.
right, well, and
They can make recommendations.
And the other thing that Andy Johnson had said was that the program agencies have to have all MOUs approved by DOH legal. So I don't know if this ties in, because every region is the program agency on behalf of the state. So I don't know the answer to this question. I'm simply asking at a different forum because
You'll notice in the correspondence chart here that Tim Mirabile a couple of days ago emailed me and said, what's the status of the MOU? Has Dr. Leinhardt signed it yet? And I said I will check with him. The REMAC docs, I sent it around to them right after our last meeting. I sent it around to them the next day, and they have all approved it verbally. Whether or not a copy has been signed by Doc and sent on to Remo, that I do not know yet, but I will check with
my
him.
personal feeling on this is I don't think that the REMAC chair has any authority to sign a legally binding
That's
document.
come back here first because
For
REMAC is an
authorization to
entity
sign.
of the REMSCO.
I would, right, and that was kind of my thing, is I think REMAC probably reports up to this group.
Right.
So the chair of the REMSCO, after a vote, could probably sign it with a recommendation from the MAC, but,
Well,
Correct.
so I guess
I believe the MOU is the way it's written is designed to be signed by the REMAC chair.
it is.
Yeah.
And,
Signing it isn't the issue. He can sign it. He doesn't have the authority to sign it on behalf of the REMSCO. It's got to come back here first for approval for him to sign it.
right.
Okay.
So I guess I've gotten a couple gray answers from multiple different places, so I figured I'd just throw it out here
Okay.
and see if maybe,
Apparently Tim is not aware of this either.
maybe you guys, oh, well, Tim's aware of it, it's just that we got a different answer there, so I figured I'd ask it here.
It may
It's
be,
basically about anything like that the REMAC does. REMSCO still has final approval. I mean,
That's my interpretation also. I guess I'm just suggesting that maybe this body communicate with other regions and make sure that everybody's covered.
or make
equally.
sure that it's okay to sign if you went through like Tom Bahana or Lee or someone, just, look, what are we supposed to do with this?
Again, the statement that I got from Andy was simply that program agencies have to have all MOUs approved by DOH legal.
This particular memorandum of understanding apparently has been circulated through all the regions that are parties to our collaborative protocols.
I am
How are they?
well aware of that.
How are the other regions handling it?
I don't know. You know them better than I do.
Okay, well, I
Phil,
I
it
don't
was
know.
sent out by one particular medical director, not necessarily with the state's knowledge of it before it was sent out.
Oh, really?
So has this MOU been approved by DOH?
I don't know.
It has been looked at and forwarded up the food chain. Last I knew, they had not gotten an answer back.
my suggestion would be let's wait to see what DOH
But I
says.
think you guys as a, should inquire on your own to DOH.
Right.
And like above Joe and my pay grade.
My understanding was...
This is well above us.
My understanding was it had been approved.
My understanding is we could use ketamine and standing orders during the MFI too.
I was not.
I was wrong there. That didn't go through
Yeah.
the state.
No, truly, my understanding was that this MOU, when I received it, from Remo, my understanding was that it had been fully approved all the way up the chain. Okay.
I would say
Puts
that
a whole new picture on it, a whole new light on the picture.
I would suggest that we wait until we get approval from DOH before we go any further on this.
I certainly agree.
How are you going to get that approval if no one asks? That's all I'm saying.
Well, we have somebody that'll ask.
I'll ask. Oh, I'll ask, absolutely. I have a copy of it in the computer. That's why it's helpful to have a big big memory reservoir in the computer, yes. Okay.
Any other new business?
Just to go back before the new business, the policy statement 1304 that has to go in front of REMAC. Kind of the way that policy statement reads is REMAC has to choose alternative A or alternative B, which is either the 30 milligram vial or the single
Right.
dose
The
ampoule.
agency has to go to the REMAC, and the REMAC sends out written or sends out direction
Right.
to everyone under its authority what they're going to do.
Okay, so
And then
everybody's
they
going to do
appropriate
whatever the REMAC decides. It doesn't say anywhere in that policy statement that they can choose both A and B. So everybody's going to be doing the same thing in the whole
It says they
region.
can't, it doesn't say they can't choose both A and B. It says that they have to be trained on whichever method their agency is going to
They
use.
said they should consider A first and then choose one.
Whatever
Okay.
happened to that chart that the REMAC?
That's what-
It's
That's
in
what we're
there.
talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then that's out, we have that, right?
It's in the policy statement.
And that's for everybody. That was just for-
So I make a motion that Phil contacts the REMAC to get option
B is single.
B
Like, and
I wasn't there yet.
You make that decision.
That's the single.
That's a single,
That's the,
Option B?
oh, there we are. Oh, there's options C and D too.
Not under EPI. Scroll to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. Here's our issue is you're wasting, even on a best case scenario, you're wasting 23 milligrams of epi.
you go back to high dose.
That's what I.
Everybody came back with that. Teddy bears got pulses back.
Recessi Annie had a pulse.
That's part of the old average of everybody shocked, right?
Big shock, little shock. Little shock, big shock.
Okay, you want option B?
So my question, I'm going to play devil's advocate. So the REMAC isn't here. They can obviously pull this. They're going to have to pull it because, quite honestly, we don't have epi. So we either stop or dock. What is your opinion?
He'll have to email us to all the REMAC and get approval on it. Let's go shopping, and if anybody finds epi, shoot an email so Phil can pass it around where there's epi to hold us over in the
No,
meantime.
the last I knew, EMC, Emergency Medical Products out in Ohio, they had EPI. They had EPI 110.
But for, like in our case, that's up to the pharmacy at the hospital to get it, because that's where we fill our drugs from. We don't go out and order drugs.
You may have to alter where you get your drugs from.
On a short period of time. And then Phil can send the email out to all the REMAC docs for approval on the plan. And if you prefer B or A, whatever you guys want to do, or shoot it out to the docs, go to that form, choose plan A, B, and send it back. But in the meantime, let's shop and get Phil to shoot an email where there's epi available.
So they're currently, I mean, yeah, they're currently out of it, and one provider, or one more did not have it. So in the meantime, I mean, we gonna put a time limit on this, or are we gonna shop around for a week, or, because then if I use it up
I guess
one truck, I got nothing.
what would you do in our situation? We don't have epi otherwise.
Go ahead, let's start making phone calls, try to get it. Phil, shoot an email out to all the REMAC docs.
I've done that. That's what I'm saying. I've tried more. My last order on Monday more did not have it.
Try EMP, Boundtree, and Phil, shoot the email out today to all the docs.
Yeah, just let me know and I will follow it up.
And how long are we gonna wait for an answer?
Does Fox Hospital,
I think the way the doc said it, maybe tomorrow, if the phone call said they don't have it, and then REMAC can.
The other thing is, if you read one of the lines, I mean, you're saying that your pharmacy doesn't have it. Additionally, where applicable, the pharmacy should establish collaborative arrangements with other institutions within a regional network or system. So the pharmacist should be helping you.
And they are, but we can't tell a hospital where to order their meds.
Exactly.
Right, but you guys can order. I've got squads that don't order or pick up from the pharmacies, they order directly from the supply, Boundtree.
Yeah, you have your medical director
More
sign the
medical.
form.
Yeah, just a form to be signed by the agency medical director is fairly easy. Very straightforward. But,
I personally, I'm gonna say, I personally have a problem with somebody telling me where I have to order my supplies, contrary to whatever the price might be. I mean, I'm a guy that, I understand it may be short term until this gets approved, but if we're talking tomorrow, I could call today and say, hey, you have it, and by the time I get it, 2 days from now, we're already gonna have an answer, and I've just wasted that money.
Where does the agency medical director fit into any of this?
I have a problem with the timeline this takes when you don't know when you're going to have these drug shortages, and how quickly they happen, and how quickly your agency's it's going to be a shortage, and the process you have to go through to get permission.
Which brings
To
me
go to
back
a
to my
substitute.
question,
So
because
exactly.
the agency medical director has the authority in the interim to say, do this. You know what I'm saying? Why
I
is it-
thought when we, Doctor, didn't the REMAC authorize that table to be used in the event, basically on standing?
Yeah, I thought that they did.
They did.
I thought they did.
I remember
They
we
did. I
discussed
wish
it,
we
but I
could
don't know
find
of a
that.
And I thought
blanket
that they
vote that
looked
says
at
you can
it-
do whatever you want to do.
No, I thought it said you had to go by that.
You had to go by the
You
table.
had to follow that, correct?
Right.
Right, you had to follow the table, but I thought we could follow the table as we
That's what
needed.
I'm.
Right.
Phil, you must
Because
have the notes.
here's a perfect example. Fulton County ran into, one of them ran into, they couldn't get a drug. So 2 agencies couldn't get a drug, but everybody else could.
I don't know that there's a blanket, you can do whatever you want, when you want, according to the table.
No, not a whatever you want, like, so O'Connor doesn't have the D10 and 250 bags, they have the D10 and 500 bags, and that's one of the options on the sheet. You know, so you can choose to get the 500 bags instead of having to call 27 dealers, 27 different places trying to get the 250s. And understand, what the difference is there and do the training on it. I thought that's what was allowed in that sheet. That your choice had to be based off of that sheet. But that was not.
And it
what
was because it was taking so long to get a REMAC answer on these substitutions, meeting only every other month.
And that they were
via
such a
email.
huge problem.
Exactly.
These substitutions are, because it seems like every other month that something else is a shortage. D10 is a shortage. Normal saline is a shortage. Now, Epi put 1 to 1,000 is fine. They just don't have enough water to make the 1 to 10,000. That's ridiculous.
It's special water.
Oh.
In this policy statement, it says the REMAC can approve the formula.
Epi Spring.
And every 30 days, the REMAC is supposed to review it, and if it lasts for 6 months, then they have to put a written request in the DOH.
So what you're saying is
to
the
extend
approval
it.
from 2 years ago should have blanket covered it, then they should have had 6 months approvals.
They should have had to put in every 6 months.
And they
every,
didn't,
And every
so-
30 days at the meeting, they should have had to look at it. Now, I don't know if we're talking about the entire policy statement, or the entire formulary, or just one specific line out of whatever comes up. It's kind of crazy the way it's written, because, like you say, it could change from month to month of what you're dealing with a shortage of.
I'm still thinking it's gonna have to go to the REMAC for an approval.
So we have to approve it at every REMAC?
Well, for the EPI situation, we're gonna have to shoot out an email to the
But I mean,
REMAC.
going forward, could we do that? Could we approve a formulary at every REMAC so that we don't
Once we
have
create the formulary, we're extending it 30 days or 60 days.
Right, between each
30 days.
REMAC meeting, can we do
They have to do
that?
it every 30, and then every 6 months, they have to put a written request in the DOH to extend it
So
longer.
every other month you can respond via email, and then every other month you can respond in person.
So we'll have to bring that to REMAC.
But you could probably do like an email vote for this one, for
Right.
now.
Right,
um,
yes.
I'll look up that.
The way the policy statement's written, it doesn't appear to be that they wanted just to have carte blanche in that we want. which-
Correct.
Right.
Right, I think that's the intention of that, but the way we took it the first time 2 years ago when it was voted on was, those are approved, if you run into it, that's what we're gonna use.
Yeah, I thought it was written.
Rachel from EMP says hi.
I know Rachel.
Really? Yeah, I got her on live chat. You want me to tell her?
Yeah, just tell her I said hi.
Maggie?
Yeah.
All right. She says, yeah, we don't have any in stock at all, any of 1 to 10,000, any kind of form. And the ETA is showing anywhere from 229 to 513 direct from the manufacturer.
I know as of Monday, More Medical did not have it.
Tom, what would you like me to query the REMAC about?
I guess to notify them of the epi shortage and
Put the
see.
policy statement in and put the options.
Adopt the policy statement 1304 and put and make epi option B.
Request option B? All right. That's in the form of a motion. We're on the second.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay,
All right.
so, you want to read that motion, how it's going to be written?
To contact the REMAC by email, which I'll try to do today, send report at 1304, the one? Yeah,
Yes.
1304, and request that, pass on the request from the council that the REMAC approve option B at this time, under emergency conditions.
Everyone understand the motion? Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained?
I'll try to get out this afternoon.
Okay. Any other new business? If not, we have a motion for adjournment. Thank you all very much.
Our next meeting is March the 17th, in case you don't realize it, that's St. Patrick's Day. Just want to mention that.
We're agreed.
We don't have to wear green, no.
Corned beef and cabbage for lunch?
Let's try. I'm gonna try.
Green beer.
Okay.